Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of this channel called Patrick the Runner. My name is Patrick Sheridan and as always I am here to talk to you all about running. Right, so look, I got a big PB in my last race, as you've all seen, in the 1500 meters. So if you're interested in watching an 800 meter race and seeing how I get on, whether I can run that 150, then this is going to be a good video for you. Also, if you're interested in seeing how an athlete or a runner prepares for races, then you're going to see a bit of that in this video too. I am in Watford. I've just arrived here, just off the plane, got the plane from Luton, then got an Uber to this hotel here in Watford. I think I'm only about 3 or 4 miles away from Woodside Stadium, which is where I'm going to be running tomorrow night. And I'm really excited about the prospect of running in another BMC, that's the British Milers Club event, on Wednesday night, that's tomorrow night. And as you know, it's no secret, I want to run under 150 for the 800 meters. And I want to do that sooner rather than later, but that doesn't mean that in order for this to be a good race, I have to run 150, because that's just not the way running works. I got a big 3-second PB there over the 1500 meters, so I'm hoping that that means I can run at least 151 for the 800 tomorrow night, and that would be an absolutely great result for me, especially considering it'd be the first 800 race of the year. So look, you've seen all the training if you've been watching and tuning along for the last while, and you will know then that I'm in good shape. I am really excited about the race. I feel like the weekend there, so it's now the 13th of May, it's Tuesday the 13th of May, the race is tomorrow night. 3 days ago, on Saturday the 10th of May, I had that race, that 1500 meter race in Belfast, so just giving you a chronology of events there. So we're 3 days later down the line, and I feel like that, as I said, has really boosted my confidence, and I feel like I am in good shape. I know I'm in good shape. I've had a good 10k win there at the Jimmy's 10k, big race in Northern Ireland a couple of months back. After that, I followed that up with a 5k PB of 14:48. Then I've got a 1500 PB. So we're working our way down the distances from the 10k, 5k, 1500, now to my bread and butter, the 800 meters. So I'm looking forward to a strong race. And yeah, look, I'll show you about as much as I can, just short clips of what I'm doing and how I'm going to prepare for things. But just to give you a bit of an idea, I've just got here, went for a wee walk before I got the flight this morning, or before I left to drive my house to get to the flight. Then just got here there now. It's 3 o'clock, so I'm going to go out, probably should get some lunch. And then what I'm going to do is come back here. I'm actually going to work on another video that's going to be uploaded, which you'll have all seen by the time this goes up. And then I'm going to do some stretching. I'll go out for my shakeout run, and then I'll just sort of relax as much as I can this evening. But look, try not to get too uptight about things, because it is just a race. But anyway, look, I'll let you know how I'm getting on the rest of the day. I'm excited about this race, though. I feel like I can run a strong race. I think I finished my 1500. I got the split of the last 400 last night. I think it was about 58.9. So the last 400, that's what I closed in that 1500. So I'm thinking tomorrow night, I can definitely go out and run at least a 55, but hopefully a 54, I think, and feel pretty strong. And then I think I can come home in a 57 or 58 at most. And obviously if I ran a 54 and then a 58, that would get me 152 flat. But I think I can do a bit better than that. That's what I'm saying. So I really am feeling confident. But look, the race will tell all. So anyway, that's where we are now. I'm going to go get some lunch and I'll catch you all soon. Actually, before I go, look, we have got over 900 subscribers now. We're well on the way to the magic number. I don't even know if I want to say what it is before I get there, but if you're liking the videos, please give them a like. Please press that subscribe button if you've been tuning in and you've been enjoying the videos, because if you've been tuning in and you haven't been subscribing, why are you being like that? And no, seriously though, just give the video a like, and if you press that subscribe button, I really will be appreciative. So look, hope you all are enjoying the content. Hope you all enjoy this video. Let's see if I can get close to that 150 marker, and yeah, catch you on a bit. Okay everyone, so this is me now. It is about 9:15 and I am just heading out for my shakeout. So it is quite late in the evening. I don't really have an excuse for going this late, other than sometimes I'm just a bit of a night owl, and I went out for lunch there today did a decent bit of walking, trying to find places in the town. It was only actually like 5 minutes away, but ended up walking a bit, so I was a bit tired. So basically just sat in bed, did a video for last week of the 1500 meter race, got that up, and now I'm going out for my shakeout. It's probably not ideal. I'll then get dinner after this. I tend to eat dinner kind of late, and that's just what I do. Again, possibly isn't optimal, but it's what I'm used to. It's what I've always done. I always try to get to bed before 12 o'clock. It's rare that I don't. So I'll still get about 8 hours sleep in, and that's kind of just how I operate well. So again, I'm just being honest about how I'm actually going about things. I don't always have dinner at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock and then get to bed at 9:30. It's just not what I do. But I still think I live a healthy life. And anyway, got out for a run now. Probably not ideal because I don't really know the area, and obviously don't want to get jumped or mugged, so I'm gonna have to just be careful because I don't really know Watford that well at all. But anyway, gonna do my 5 mile shakeout now, then I'll do some stretches, drills, strides, then I'll get back, probably order a Deliveroo, get some pasta, just some spaghetti bolognese, keep it real simple, and then get to bed for tomorrow. So yeah, that's me now. As you can see, starting to get a bit dark, so I will head and start the run now. Catch y'all soon. Alright everyone, so it is nearly 10:30 and I'm just about to head out here. I'm up about 45 minutes and I am going to go and get some breakfast. There's not great breakfast in the hotel here, not the sort of breakfast I'm looking for. I think they just have Friday, so I want to get some porridge. I'll head to, I'm not sure what you call that place. It isn't Greg's, but it's pink and I can't even think of what the name is. It has like a red top on it. I'll let you know when I find the name, but it's like a branch or something like Starbucks, but it's a bit better. What do you call it? What do you call that thing? It's not Grace. It's, oh, that's gonna annoy me. I can't think of it. Anyway, probably not great content here. I'm gonna go somewhere and get breakfast, get some porridge, and then gonna make sure I get some orange juice or something like that there, and just try to keep things as normal as possible. Then gonna go into the town, buy some shoes, and then after that probably get some lunch, and then I'm probably gonna come back to the hotel, just sit about and chill. And it's about finding a balance between not doing absolutely nothing, because I think that can leave you feeling a bit sluggish, but also not wrecking yourself and not walking something ridiculous like 20,000 steps before the races happen, because that's not going to be good for the race and for performance. But yeah, I just try to keep things in the same sort of routine that I would if I had been off work and if it was a weekend, say, because yes, when I'm working, I would have gotten up a bit earlier, but the whole point of taking today off is that, well, I can be here, but also I don't have the pressure of work, so I can sleep in a bit later and do things like that. So that's kind of how I operate and how I approach these things. I'm going to try to take a bit of a break from my phone. I feel like the last while I've been on my phone way too much, and the screen time is kind of gone through the roof. You wouldn't even want to know what the numbers are sometimes, and I just feel like, particularly when I'm off work, I can just be looking at my phone too much, and that's probably not a great thing. So try to get that balance today, walk around, get out in the sunshine a bit, stay away from the sun for long periods. So I don't want to be sitting in the sun or walking in the sun for long periods, but really that's it. Gonna go get some breakfast now, and I'm gonna get some porridge probably in the town, hopefully somewhere has that. And yeah, that will do. Also, I'll let you know what I'm at during the time, but it'll probably be hard to get that much footage. Gonna go in and buy a pair of shoes because I think I could do with that. You can see I got the blue on me today again. Might just make that the race day colours. I like wearing this t-shirt, so maybe I could get some more t-shirts and stuff like that because I wear a lot of the same things running. But anyway, we will see how we get on, and I'll catch y'all soon. Right everyone, so I am heading to get some shoes now. I'm in this shopping centre in Watford. It's absolutely ridiculously big. It has about everything you could think to have. See that there, even there's a rock climbing thing behind there. If I was a child, I would have absolutely lived that up. So yeah, it's a big shopping centre, absolutely massive. It's actually as big as something you'd see in central London. But anyway, yeah, so gonna get the shoes now and see how we get on. Right, so didn't get the shoes yet. Do you know what? I was in a store there and there were plenty of nice shoes. I probably almost certainly would have gotten a pair, but the guy who was there were two guys. One was, I think, the owner, because he approached me yesterday when I went in, and he was a bit
pushy, but he sort of left me to it. This guy today, just, I don't know if he was overly keen or if he thought I was going to steal something, but he was like standing a metre away from me wherever I went, and he was like smiling at me, and it was just so intense and so weird. And I was like, I'm leaving because you are just a strange man. And yeah, I didn't get the shoes, but anyway, hopefully I'll get something here. Quite a nice day, as you can see outside there, so yeah, all good.
Alright everyone, so this is probably the last you'll see of me until the race. I had a decent day there, I didn't get the shoes. Got lunch in Pizza Express, which was fine. Came back here, slept for a bit, just sat around really, and now I'm having this bicarb. It's 5:33, so the race is at 7:15, so I kind of really should be away, but I'm gonna get an Uber now, and then once I take this, yeah, I'll go in the car in the Uber, and then I'll get registered, and then shortly after that I will start warming up. So that's really the plan. Feeling a bit nervous, just as usual, but not overly nervous, and looking forward to the race. I think sometimes I felt the exact same on Saturday. Sometimes just the nerves, it's a strange feeling. It's just getting your body ready for what's going to happen, but I'm optimistic that I'm going to run a good time. I'm looking forward to it, and this is what I trained for, so I think it's going to go well. That said, that's how I always feel, and what I'm just saying is I think it would sort of be disingenuous to say, oh yeah, no, I'm going to run a PB, or all I've got is good indications that my fitness is in the right place. So let's go and run a good race, and hopefully that takes me to a PB. 151 really is the goal here. If I can run quicker, that's a bonus, but I want to get a PB. So yeah, under 152 is what we're looking. So let's go. Right, everyone, so that's me back from Watford. Just before getting into the race recap, I want to give a couple of shout outs. First of all, my uncle Seamus was able to get to the race, so he got some footage. I also met a man called Stefan who came over to me and said he was enjoying the channel, had some very nice words to say about the channel, which I really appreciated. Stefan was able to get some footage, so that combined with my uncle's footage, we were able to put together a race video, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed watching that. Also, Stefan's daughter was running in the 800 meters in her age group, so big shout out to Elizabeth. And yeah, it was really nice to meet them, and it's nice to meet people who are enjoying the channel and watching it. Also, I bumped into a guy from Ireland who I didn't know until the day of the race, but was in the same hotel as me. His name is Liam Morris. He's only 17 years old, but he ran 3:54 for the 1500 meters, which is absolutely ridiculous. So big shout out to Liam and his dad who gave me a lift home or back to the hotel. So it was really nice to meet them. And yeah, there's a lot of talent there. So fair play, Liam. But look, going into the race recap now, I am not going to lie. I was really disappointed with the result. I ran 1:53.78, and as you guys know, I was expecting to run at least, or hoping to run at least 1:51. So that really was disappointing. And I am someone who has high expectations of myself. And considering I got a PB 4 days before in the 1500 meters, I was telling myself that I was in good shape to run a fast time, and I was expecting big things. I was expecting to run at least 1:51, as I said, and that didn't happen. So that was heavily disappointing on the night. And I think sometimes for me, life is about balance to an extent, and it is about trying to manage the highs and the lows. And I think sometimes, like on Saturday, I can get really high after a good race, but sometimes I can feel quite low after a disappointment. And I think it's probably a healthier perspective on the sport if you try to stay a bit more balanced and not quite let it get to you as much, because I don't think that's great for your happiness in general, but also isn't probably conducive to top level performance. I often think that if there's two guys in the starting line and one of them it means everything to, and the other guy it just means a lot to, but not necessarily everything, sometimes I think that guy, the latter guy, can be at an advantage. And I think I went in and I was excited, I was ready to go, but also I just think sometimes I need to relax a bit and just let almost what be will be, because I think it's something that's kind of hard to put a finger on, because on Saturday I went in with big expectations in the 1500 meters, but I just felt more relaxed, and I felt like the nervous energy was actually giving me more energy, and I felt like I was bouncing when doing my strides, whereas on Wednesday for some reason I felt like the energy was kind of draining, and I'm not sure why that changed. And I don't think I have an unhealthy relationship with wanting to perform, by the way. I'm not really saying that there's anything wrong with me. I just mean sometimes that it's hard. I suppose this is what I'm saying. When you have disappointments like that, I really do take it to heart, and it does then kind of consume me for a couple of days. But now I can only say that, I'm doing everything I can to try to make sure that there's a better performance in Manchester on the 24th of May, which is next Saturday. And that's what I'm focusing on doing now. So what I'm going to give here is a quick recap. I'm going to try to be succinct, but also honest and transparent about what I think went wrong. And anything I do say, some of it could sound like an excuse. Some of it, I suppose, in a way, is an excuse. But it's me trying to explain properly what the reasoning was for that result. And I feel like I'm not being entirely straight with you if I don't say what actually is on my mind, what I think could have contributed to a lesser performance on Wednesday than, say, on Saturday. So that's what the channel is about. I feel like there'd be no point in me doing the channel if I wasn't giving it to you straight, and that's what I'm going to try to do. So look, when I registered the other night, I found out that the pacer was gone out in 51 seconds, which I knew was quick because the world record for the 800 is 142. Sorry, the world record is 140.99, but two 51-second laps would get you 142, and I'm definitely not in shape to run 142. I think there's probably only a handful of people, or not that many more than that, who have run that time. So, of course, I understand that a 51 first lap probably is going to be followed up by a 53 second lap, but still, if that pace is in any way sustained, it's still a lot quicker than I'm fit for at the minute. So I think that put me in a bit of a predicament, because I wasn't sure how fast I actually wanted to get out, and I wasn't really sure how close to the pacer I wanted to be, say after 150 meters. Also then, as you can see in the video, or as you may be able to see, I started in a lane beside someone, which wasn't ideal. Again, that's something that's definitely not an excuse for performance, because that's something that as an athlete I need to be able to cope with. But I think I was in two minds as to whether I was going to make a dart for the first 100 and then try to get out quickly, or whether I was going to concede that, knowing that there's a good chance, because most of the field could run or have run in the 140s, that this guy might be a bit quicker than me. So maybe I'll just let him go and, sit off him and a couple of the other guys. So I probably was in a bit two minds. I think what happened was that he went out a bit quicker. He then got the lead in me in that lane, which is probably fine. And then after 100 meters, I think I was about 5th or 6th at the break in the cones, which again is fine because they all went off quickly. I felt like I was holding something back. Well, I was holding something back because I didn't want to, go all out to get there right behind a pacer who's running 51 seconds for the first lap, which I didn't want to do anyway. But straight away, what happened was that my legs felt really dead and tired. And I didn't even feel like the pace was that quick. That's how I can describe it. Just, I didn't feel like this is a pace that's beyond me or that I wouldn't be doing in training. It felt like it should have been comfortable, but it didn't feel comfortable. That's the only way, as I said, I can kind of articulate what it was that I was feeling. And then at 200, I heard someone shout out when I crossed the 200 mark that the group I was amongst at that time went through in about 26 and a half seconds. And that, again, should have felt fine because I do it all the time in training. I've done it in races before, but I didn't feel fine at all. And I don't remember too much after that. And that's one issue I would say that I have with this race too, is that I don't feel like I was present in the race psychologically. And I feel like in order to have a good performance, you do have to be. For example, in the 1500 on Saturday, a few days before that, I went through the splits at 60 for the first 400. I heard them being called out, and I remember thinking, this feels fine, I feel good, let's just run with good form. I heard them being called out at 800 and it was 202 or 203, and I remember thinking like, right, that's slowed down a bit, but I feel really good here, like I can push it on. And then at the bell with 400 to go, we went through in 249 or 250, and I remember thinking, right, I can close here in sub 60 seconds, and that is what I'm going to focus on doing for this last 400. But I felt like I was really mentally switched on the whole time and focused, and it wasn't that I wasn't focused on a good performance, that I didn't want to execute a good race. I did, but I felt so physically tired from the very early stages in the race that my brain almost switched off, and I just felt kind of brain dead. I don't know exactly what I went through 400 in. I probably should look at the video, but haven't yet in full. But I think it was probably about 53 or 54 seconds. And I remember then getting to 500, and I think it was 68 that I saw. And I remember thinking, that doesn't really mean much to me, or I wasn't doing the maths at the time, thinking, right, I need to run 42 seconds for the next 300, which would have been feasible. And then I'd run 150. I remember just thinking, I'm kind of holding on for dear life here, and I shouldn't feel like that, only going through 500 in about 68 seconds. And I just did not feel good. And then the last few hundred meters, I don't really remember. I just remember being overtaken and not being able to get that back. And my legs just felt so heavy, which is what an 800 will feel like to an extent. Like, it will happen that you gradually do just slow down. But then when I look at the video, I'm finding it hard to watch the last 50 meters or so where I really, really slow down, and then I didn't dip over the line. And I don't know why I didn't do that, because that's something that I always do. And I find it's a really disappointing performance. Like, if I was going to grade that out of 10, I'd be struggling to give myself a 6. I'd probably give it like a 5. Now, the time I finished on 153.78 or whatever it wasn't, an unmitigated disaster in terms of the time. Like, it's probably in the top 5 or 6 races that I've actually run in terms of the actual time, but it didn't feel like that. And maybe that's a reflection on where I'm going in terms of the fact that, for example, just over 15 months ago, I got the national indoor final and I ran 153, and I was absolutely over the moon, whereas I feel like that was a really poor performance, and I still ran 153. And I did dig in, I didn't quit, I still obviously pushed myself around the course or the track, but I did not feel good. I came away thinking, have I bottled that opportunity? Because it was a good race, I was fit, it was a good chance for me to get a really good time in a good field, and I didn't deliver. But all I can say is that I gave it my best. I wasn't feeling good initially, and I'm not entirely sure why, and it's my responsibility as an athlete to put myself on the start line knowing that I'm fit. So like, I wasn't sick or anything, I was 100% health wise, but I felt tired from the offset. And my thinking, and this is what I was talking about at the start when I say this could come across as an excuse, and perhaps it is, but it's not really me trying to give a justification for what I consider a poor performance. It's me trying to explain to you all what changes I'm going to make, because there has to be an analysis of what goes wrong in order for you to get things right. So I think what happened was that I probably was feeling the effects of a 1500 PB 4 days before. On top of that, I did a threshold session of 5 by 5 minutes after the 1500, and that probably wasn't the best idea. I did that like about an hour after the race, and then on Sunday I had a relatively long run of 12 miles. I did that because I wanted to keep the volume up, and I was conscious last year of, I think now looking back on reflection, dropping the volume too much during the racing season. But I think in order to be fresh for 800-meter races, you do need to taper a bit, and I think I probably neglected that aspect of the preparation with an eye on maybe the later stages of the summer and wanting to perform well there. So that is a possibility. Again, I think too, me wanting to be a good athlete, I should be able to put races back to back and perform better. But what I'm saying is, I think I'm not fit enough yet to put 2 really good races in the space of 4 days together, when I think I should be able to do that. So I suppose that's what I'm saying. I just wasn't fit enough on the day to do what I wanted to do. But look, I'm up again next weekend. I'll show you all that one. Again, I'm always willing to go through performances and give you my initial thoughts. I also think in terms of things that I could have done better, like my form, I think was really poor for that race. Like I look at myself running, and that was nearly the way I was running a couple of years ago. So I'm really disappointed with that too. Again, it was like I mentally switched off, and I'm not really sure why. And my legs as well felt dead. So I felt like I couldn't get them up as high, my knees as high as I wanted to. So look, hopefully that'll be better for the next time. That's really all I can say. You know, I'm going to give it my best. You know, I'm going to be honest with you here, but that's just my take on it for now. Look, I appreciate everyone's support so much. You don't know how much it means to me. The feedback on the last video was amazing, so I'm so happy and grateful for that. But look, if you're enjoying the videos, please give them a like. Please press that subscribe button if you want to see more. Please also give me a follow on Patrick the Runner 97 at Instagram, because I'm starting to show a lot more things there, and I don't necessarily show everything on here that I do on Instagram. So it's Patrick the Runner 97. I would really appreciate that too, because that's another platform that I'm trying to get going. And also on Strava at Patrick Sheridan, you can see all my activities. And that's really it. Look, hopefully there'll be better performances to come. I appreciate all the support. Let me know what you think of the race, whether it's positive or negative. I don't mind the positive things. They're nice to read. But if you have, constructive criticism, give it to me. I'll take it. We can talk about it in the comments. Look, just thank you for the support. Thank you for tuning in. Press the like button. Press that subscribe button. We're getting close to a big number, which I'm very excited about. And I think as the numbers get bigger, there'll be a lot more things to come. And I just want to say again, thank you very much. Thanks for tuning in. There'll be another video up very shortly, and stay tuned for that, and I will see you all soon. Thank you very much.